Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing the all about my eyeshadows tag. This has been going on YouTube for about a month, I think. I'm just catching wind of it. I saw it on Andrea Renee's YouTube channel. If you don't know who she is, I will link her video down in my description box. She did it in collaboration with someone else, but I'm going to do it by myself. But if you have a YouTube channel, I tag you. So tag, you're it. I'm going to go ahead and start in with the first question. What is your newest palette? I have two palettes that fall under this category because I bought them both at the same time at the same place. So it will be the Juvia's Place mini palettes. I haven't used this one yet, but I used this one today. It's the chocolate. I use it on my eyes today. It's the only thing I use today on my eyes. But I decided to get this one because I do have a lot of Juvia's Place palettes. It's one of my favorite brands. And I thought this would be good to use in collaboration with some of the other ones that are more colorful, you know, like transition colors and things like that, to make it, you know, more subtle. But today I used these three shades down here to do the look that you see on my eyes right now. It was pretty nice. I used a white eyeshadow base just because I wanted to make sure it popped, you know, to be on camera. So when I went to go get this one, I had some points on my Ulta rewards. I don't know exactly what Ulta calls it, but I had some points. So I ended up getting this one for $3. So I am winning. As you guys can see, I have not used it yet, but I have opened it and swatched it. Look at that. Oh, look at that. If you like purples, and pinks, this one is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I love it. I'm very happy and pleased with my purchase. And yeah, so these are my newest palettes. Question number 2, what is your oldest palette? The oldest palette I have is more of, it's like a quad. I got this from MAC. I bought this like 7 years ago when I was like really starting to get into makeup. I made the palette, so I bought each color and then I bought the palette. As you guys can see, I'm sure if you are a MAC fan, you know exactly what this is. But the colors that I have, I believe, okay, this is Folly. This one is Track. And this one is Methodology, this goldish color right here. And this one is Embark. Embark is like a go-to color. If you guys are a MAC fan and you're brown skin or deep skin tone, you know about Embark. Embark is a beautiful color to use on your eyes. Folly and Embark have definitely stood the test of time. I still use this. As you guys can see, I'm almost hitting pan. Whenever I can find it, I use it. So this is my oldest palette. For question number 3, what is your most expensive palette? So that is going to be my Huda Nude palette. It is $65. I got it at Sephora. I didn't think the colors were going to look very good on my skin tone. I saw swatches, didn't really care for it. But I saw the Princess Lifestyle. She's like maybe 1 or 2 shades deeper than me. And when she uses this palette, oh my gosh, it looks so, so pretty. The 2 things I really like about this palette is that it has this concealer shade right here. You can use it as a concealer if that's, you know, close to your skin tone, you know, to start with your eyebrows and then go down with the rest of your eyeshadow. Or you can use it as a primer. I use it as a primer, eyeshadow primer. So after I do my eyebrows, I apply it with my finger to my, you know, my lids like I would do any other eyeshadow primer. And I think that's super convenient, especially if you're a beauty on the go. It's a really good primer to me. But I don't use it too often because I know it's going to run out soon, and I'm just waiting for her to come out with a eyeshadow primer. Hint, hint, Huda. So the next thing I like about this palette is that it has these self-adhesive glitters. I love glitter. I love glam. I'm very much a girly girl. But to be honest, I don't have time for glitter glue and all that stuff. Sometimes you just want to finish your look and just apply some glitter real quick. These 2 glitters right here are very, very beautiful. They go well with every other color in the palette. And I just really love it because if I'm on the go and I got to do something really quick, I just like add it with my fingers. It's so, so glam. All these colors are beautiful. I love all of them. Even some of the colors that I thought that I wasn't going to care for. I do really love this palette. It's one of my favorite palettes. I don't regret spending the $65 on this palette. The only other palette that I feel like I would spend more money on would be the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes, this new one that she came out with. I think I really want that one. So right now, the most expensive palette would be this one. I do have some other Huda Beauty palettes, but I chose to show you this one because it's like one of my favorites. But yeah, it's a beautiful palette. If you guys want to try it, let me know. I'll leave a comment down in the description box. I'll do a couple looks using the palette with the glitter and the concealer and things like that so you guys know what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, that was number 3. So number 4, my most affordable eyeshadow palette would have to be the e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. I have 2 of these. These are $3. If you know anything about e.l.f., they can be found in grocery stores and Walmart and Target, just about everywhere. Even like gas stations. I've seen e.l.f. in gas stations quite a few times, and I was like, what? Look at e.l.f. I think Carnival Candy is my favorite one because I don't know, this shade right here, I use this as a transition shade all the time, and then I use this one. These two colors are like in my everyday type of color palette that I like to use. So it's a beautiful palette. For $3, you can't beat it. And then they come in different shades. I think there's like maybe 6 different shades they come in. So if you're a beauty on the budget and you're looking for a really good, some good eyeshadows to start out with, try e.l.f. $3. Number 5, what is my everyday eyeshadow palette? This was the first mini palette that Huda came out with. I think it was Warm Brown and something else, but this one is Warm Brown. These are what the colors look like. These are like definitely a go-to for me. If I am in a rush or if I want to go somewhere really quick and I just need some colors, you know, on my lid to just look like I did something, these are the colors I would go for. Even this middle color, I think it was perfect that they put this right here in the middle. It's like a gold color. I have even used this middle color, the gold one, for a highlighter sometimes because I was just in a rush. This would be my everyday eyeshadow palette, the Warm Brown Obsessions, the mini palette by Huda. So number 6, what is your most colorful eyeshadow palette? For me, that would be my Pinky Rose Bright Light eyeshadow palette. It still has a little sleeve. How many of you, do y'all keep the packaging that your eyeshadow palettes come in? I have a thing with keeping packaging. It's a bad habit. So this is the only rainbow palette that I own, and I love it. I've had the urge to buy another colorful palette, but I think this one just fulfills all my needs. So this one has 3 self-adhesive glitters. I like Easy Glam. I don't know. So you literally can just use your finger and like put it on your eyes, or you can use a glitter glue if you want to make sure it's like on there. But I wear contacts and I use these self-adhesive glitters all the time and they never get in my eyes. Maybe because I'm not doing like extra stuff, but hey. But the colors that are the self-adhesive are the Cupcake. Here it's like a multicolored glitter, and then there's Dazzle. Dazzle is more like a bluish greenish color. I guess I'll show you guys a little closer. And this one here is Tickle. So those are the self-adhesive glitters, but how pretty is this palette? I usually use this color, and this color. That's Pop Rocks, Tiki, and Becky. So that's like a purple, kind of like a coral pink and a hot pink. I use those colors way more than I use any of the other colors. The other colors like the bright blues and the bright green and the blue and the lime green, I use that as accent colors like in my inner corner here and there because I'm just not a bright makeup type of gal, but I still like color from time to time. I have been tempted to buy other rainbow palettes in the past, but I'm like, I'm fine because I barely use this one. So that is question number 6, my most colorful palettes. Question number 7, it's what is your smallest eyeshadow palette? That would be my e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. I know I already used this one, but it's my smallest one that I own. e.l.f. Cosmetics has come so far in the last 6 years. It's crazy. Like, this is not the e.l.f. that I grew up knowing. These are pretty good eyeshadow palettes. They blend easily. They're super affordable and they have pretty decent pigment. So that's number 7 for me, the smallest eyeshadow palette that I own, bite size. So number 8, biggest eyeshadow palette. It was between this one and my Juvia's Place Magic palette, but this one is bigger. So you guys remember the Jaclyn Hill palette, the very first one that came out that everybody loved? Yeah, I never got that palette, and now they did a re-release of the palette. I hear the formulation is kind of shaky, but I decided to get this one. This was before the re-release of the palette, but I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Now, doesn't that look like it? That's kind of like a dupe for the Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, right? It's by Rude Cosmetics. It says Makeup with the Attitude, and you open it up. So it's supposed to be like this little book, and then it has like these little chapters in it. So every row here is given a chapter here. So you got 5 chapters, I believe. Yeah, 5 chapters. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. It's kind of cute. But as far as pigmentation, it's okay. It's okay. I am going to revisit this with a better eyeshadow primer. I didn't put much effort into it when I first got it because when I did the swatches, I was like, that is not going to work. But this is my biggest palette that I own. Super affordable. Number 9, the palette with the best memory. That would have to be the Huda Beauty Textured Eyeshadow Rose Gold Edition palette. This is the first palette that Huda came out with when she started the brand, and it had a lot of people had like a lot to say about it. I was fairly new to makeup, so I didn't understand what people were saying about it. But now that I've used makeup for some time, I can see where people probably it wasn't what they expected from her. So a couple years later, she came out with the Huda Remastered Rose Gold palette. That's the one that's in Sephora and online. That's the one that most people on YouTube are using. But I decided not to get it because I had already got this one. These shades up here definitely hit different. They're different. They're not like her new ones. So obviously it was before she was putting mirrors in her palettes, but it was still 60 something dollars. So this palette gives me the best memories because it was the first, I guess you would say, prestige brand that I ever bought. It was when I first discovered Sephora and my husband took me, I think it was my birthday. It must have been my birthday. My husband took me and I was like, oh my God, this brand that everybody on YouTube uses, and she used to be a YouTuber, and I don't know, everything about Huda just screams luxury to me. So I really wanted the palette. I just have really good memories of it because it's like when I first started falling in love with makeup and just being glam, and I don't know, just every time I see it, it just makes me happy. As you guys can see, I haven't really used it because of the fact that it gives me really good memories, and I don't want to run out of it because she's not making these anymore. So this is my number 9. All right, so number 10, palette that was worth the hype. It's gonna be my Jackie Aina ABH palette. I'll probably buy another palette and just keep it. So just in case, you know, ABH starts tripping. But I'm not sure why they would start tripping. I'm just made it up. This palette has everything, every color in it, every shade in it that I didn't know that I wanted and more. So that is the close-up of these shades. I hope you guys can see it. I hope you guys can appreciate it. And the names are so cute. Shooketh, Issues, Edges, Dwalas, Sponsored, Credit. If you guys know anything about Jackie Aina, then you'll know exactly where these names are coming from. Wigglies is one of my favorite colors. I don't know why. Red is not one of the colors that I like gravitate towards very often, but when I saw this color, let me show you. Oh, I got stuff on my hand and I'm trying to do a swatch. Epic fail. That is just so beautiful. Look at that. It's like a copper red color. Yeah. It's everything I needed in my life, but I didn't realize I needed it till I got the palette. And look at the outside. This is so Miss Jackie Aina, and it has her little signature on it. This is probably the palette that I would have made. It speaks to me. This palette definitely speaks to me. When she did this, she had dark-skinned girls in mind because this is pigment for days. This is pigment for days. This is pigment for days. If you're a dark-skinned girl or somewhere around my skin tone or medium to tan, you're gonna love it. I love it. Comment down below if you have it. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so number 11, a palette that was not worth the hype. It's another ABH palette, Norvina palette. The very first Norvina palette that they came out with. I am a big fan of purple, so I was gravitating towards it. I love purples, but it didn't pop the way I thought it should pop. The packaging is really pretty. It's like a velvet lilac color. Is this a horrible palette? No, it's definitely not a horrible palette, but I think I expected more from it. I like the top row, to be quite honest, but it's this bottom row right here. The Norvina palette was on the lighter scale, and then the Jackie Aina palette was like its twin, like on the other end. So for deeper skin, you would go for the Jackie Aina palette. For very light to fair, you would go for the Norvina. If you're very fair skin, this is going to be very beautiful on you. It's very like fairy type, whimsical type of feel, much like Norvina herself. If you guys know who she is Anastasia's daughter. I kind of sort of knew it may not work for me because Norvina, she's very fair skinned, and usually when companies do collaborations with influencers or whoever, the palette, the colors are centered around that person. So I was like, it may work, it may not work. If we want to use this palette in conjunction with another palette, that'll work. But if this was the only palette you own and you're dark skinned, you may not get, you may not like it. It probably is an awesome palette for a lighter skin tone range, but for a darker skin tone, I would go with the Jackie Aina palette. The next question was my favorite palette from a brand. I think I've told you guys Juvia's Place and Huda Beauty are my favorite makeup brands right now. So I would say my favorite palette from Juvia's Place is this one right here. It is the Magic palette. Look how pretty the artwork is. I don't use it as often, but it's my favorite palette. I know it's weird. You would think that I would use it more if I like it, but I think when I started makeup, I was more of a collector. So I still have those tendencies here and there. You know, you probably shouldn't keep eyeshadows that long. I think my favorite color out of this whole palette is this one. It's called Fasco. It's like a shimmery, bluish, purplish type of color. I don't know if you guys can see that. I probably won't run out of it at all. I probably won't need to buy another one, but I just love how it looks. I don't know, it's just so beautiful to me. So this will be my number 12, a palette from a favorite brand. So number 13, the last question. This was a pretty long video. I didn't expect it to be this long. It would be this one, the Huda Beauty nude palette. I love palettes that have mirrors in it. It's just a beautiful palette. Like I said, I love the fact that it came with the primer. It's called a concealer color, but you know, you can use concealer to use as a primer. Eyeshadow primer. I love that it came with the concealer eyeshadow primer. I love that it has self-adhesive glitters. I love that the colors are nice and they're soft, and I just think it's beautiful. I work in the medical field, so these colors are everyday colors for me that I can use. But yeah, that's my number 13, my most used palette, this one. All right, so that is it. I'm done with the tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. How do you guys feel about my favorite palette, the Huda Beauty palette, the nude one? I love this palette. If you guys have it, let me know what you guys think about it down in the description box. If you don't like it, also just let me know. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to make you a part of my family. So as always, I hope you guys are being safe and stay blessed, and I love you guys. Bye.
She loving the likes. She living the life, yeah. She Instagram famous. You know that it's dangerous. Baby, you famous. Instagram famous. Body on 10, your body on 10. Shawty, you banging, oh yeah. We gon' get paid now, we gon' get paid now. Okay. We gon' get paid now, we gon' get paid now, we gon' get paid now.